Here's your chair. Have a seat. Cheers. Have you ever felt like you were carrying more of a load than your spouse? Maybe you're managing home, kids, finances, activities, and you're feeling the emotional weight of your marriage. If you ever felt alone while still being married, this conversation's for you. Welcome to Put It on the Table. This is where we stop pretending everything is perfect and start having the conversations that really help us grow and thrive into the wives that we can be. My name is Brittany Williams, and after 2 seasons of interviewing beautiful wives across different experiences, tenures, and perspectives, I realized that I have something to say too. And so in this series, I'm inviting you in to get a little bit deeper, sharing the highs, the lows, the tough times, the victories, but really keeping God at the center of everything that I do. Let's put carrying the load on the table today. This one's a little bit touchy for me because I literally am coming out of a season like this. I'll share. So my husband was unemployed for 9 months. This was one of the toughest seasons in our marriage that we've ever gone through. And I know a lot of people right now in this economy, in the world, are experiencing financial hardship. So my husband was laid off. We have 2 babies that we, of course, had to take care of, a mortgage, bills, and we were struggling. Y'all, for the longest while, we were struggling. And I don't want to get emotional, but if I do, that's okay too, because it really speaks to the hardship that we face sometimes as wives, as husbands perhaps as well. But this burden, this carrying of the weight is a tough one that I feel we don't talk about enough. So let's talk about it. So as I mentioned, my husband lost his job 9 months ago, and carrying the weight financially as a woman was tough. Usually you find that, of course, the man goes out, he's the one working, the wife staying home, taking care of the home and taking care of the kids. But y'all, the situation was reversed this time. I was going out working and my husband was home. Ooh, that was tough. That was tough. I felt the weight of the marriage in a different way. And I'm sure my husband will share his perspective when he's back at the table. Where did that weight come from? One was the financial piece. Being the woman traditionally who's going out, coming home and working was tough because that's usually unlike what we see in today's society. Usually it's either both folks going out working, both partners, or the husband going out and working. So for me to carry the financial load as the person going out of the house and working, that was tough. I wanted to be in a place where I would still show my husband the respect that he deserves, even though he wasn't providing in the same way he was providing when he was working. Y'all, that was tough. That was tough. Coming home, seeing my husband sitting on a couch. Mind you, this is me coming home. I'm sure he was doing other things before then. But coming home and seeing that, feeling exhausted from my day at work, dropping the kids off in the morning, picking the kids up. Now I'm coming home and I'm seeing my husband sitting on the couch. Y'all, that was tough. But I learned something during that time, which was keeping score. Keeping score rarely strengthens the marriage. Honest conversations do, though. And so I had to have honest conversations internally, but then I also had to have honest conversations with my husband. So they would look something like this: Babe, how are you doing today? Right? Because he was carrying a burden in a different way. He was carrying a burden of typically being the financial provider, and now in a season where he wasn't. And so he, I'm sure, was struggling mentally, emotionally during that period. I was struggling because it's not something I necessarily wanted to do. Let's be honest, but I had to do that. I was stepping in and filling a gap. But love isn't always 50-50, is what I've learned. There are times where you're going to have to carry the load for longer than perhaps you anticipated. It's going to be heavier than you thought you anticipated. Ooh, I feel that. But I believe that during that season, God was in the midst. We had to have those heart to hearts. They were tough because he didn't really want to talk to me. I didn't really have much to say. I was kind of walking on eggshells, making sure that everything I said, I thought about first to make sure that I didn't use my words to attack my husband. Ooh, y'all, come on, wives, let's talk about it. Let's get real, right? Because sometimes we can do that. We can kick our husband while he's already down. So I was very thoughtful and intentional about the words I used during that season. Was I perfect? No. But was I constantly reflecting and wanting to be the best I could be, especially in that season? Absolutely. So healthy marriages understand that seasons can change, but the commitment, y'all, remains. I never planned to walk out on my husband. I never planned or thought about leaving him, thought about disrespecting him. I just understood that it was something that I had to take on during that season. Y'all, let me testify here, okay? Because I need to give God the glory. I remember one day coming home and telling my husband, babe, we need to sell the house because we can't afford to live here anymore. We can't afford to live here anymore, babe. We need to sell the house. And my husband, thank God he's a man of faith. He was like, babe, we're not talking about this right now. Like, we're not doing this. We're not having this conversation. And I look back on it and I'm grateful. I'm grateful that he never entertained that conversation, because me as a finance professional, I was running the numbers, but he was running the faith. He was running the God got us. He was running the, okay, you're thinking logically here. I'm thinking in faith. I'm thinking, okay, my dad's got us. We're good. So I testify and I share that God provided. Thank you, Jesus. My husband is now gainfully employed and working. And after 9 months, y'all, God has changed our season. And I just want to encourage couples who may be going through that today. I know a few who it's like, y'all, my bank account is dry. My children need to be fed. I need to pay for my kids' daycare, whatever the case might be. You got bills. I need y'all to hang in there. I need y'all not to turn away from each other, but to turn toward each other. It's tough. It's tough because you want to blame your spouse. You want to blame yourself. You want to blame God. You want to play victim. But I'm hoping this video catches you in a very instrumental time in your life to say, I'm not going to do that. Yes, the load is heavy. Yes, the load is rough. But that's just what I need to do in this season. It is what it is. It's what I got to do. And so I'd love to hear from you in the comments today. If you've ever been through a season like this, how did you overcome? What helped you get through? Thank you again for joining me on another episode of The Wife Table. If you want to get connected, if you want to talk through whatever it is that you're going through, click the link in my bio. Let's have a conversation. Let's walk through this piece together that you may be going through. I love for us to book some time for us to connect. If you know someone going through something like this now, I need you to share it with them. I need you to comment. Stay seated, y'all, because I got some more things to put on the table. Okay? Until the next one, y'all. Take care. Bye.